That's what you got to do.
And I just fed up with it.
Here's Tiggy Bear says, but isn't this about finding Summer? You know who's gonna find Summer, Tiggy Bear? The authorities. I mean, let's just be real.
It's gonna be
None of
authority,
these.
some random person or somebody that or even one of the community members that hears something another one says. When it clicks with them that something they thought was small on June 15th, they're like, "Wait the hell,"
Exactly.
and then they call. They call. You know.
Yeah, I mean, how can you name one child any of the tragedy pimps has found? Name one child. We'll wait. All right,
Yeah,
let's
we'll
move
go.
on. I mean, for real though. I mean, they don't do anything. Like Cam thing. Like Cam and Allie over there put the cracking cases.
Yeah,
They're
they can't
releasing they're
get with
releasing
what.
photos that the PIs told him not to release of the search. Like that could definitely jeopardize the investigation.
The Kraken got their
Release of the search, like that could definitely jeopardize the investigation.
the Kraken got their asses in trouble with Nexstar Media for the journalists and stuff around here, and also we all know collectively that Kraken was associated with the stalkers that were tailgating us and stuff that night.
Mhm.
Out of the interview, and then immediately when we get home, in a scary manner. Let me make that clear, and that they were also stalking the investigative journalists around here and following them. All right. But they were recording myself and my children doing all kinds of shit. We get like tailgated. I'm talking an inch away from my bumper back here, and then by the time, tailgated. I'm talking an inch away from my bumper back here, and then by the time, literally seconds after we get here, my inbox starts being blown up with hints and drops at like WJHL and this and that and the other, trying to see if I'll speak on what the hell we interviewed about, and then threatening to like come essay my daughter and to feed
Wow.
animals and to kidnap from bus stop, all this shit because I wouldn't say or even admit that there had been an interview with the news, and they wanted it that desperately that they were willing to do the vague hints and threats at my children again, right? Within
Yeah.
seconds here. And but it leads right back to somebody had to inform Tragedy Pimpville over here that that interview had taken place, talking investigative journalists, to even know, because we kept it extremely quiet that we were going to do the interview, and then there they were, and it's people associated right back to Kraken and to 423 that were stalking us,
Mhm.
and we have proof of all that shit too, and stalking us,
Mhm.
and we have proof of all that shit too, and others with credentials know that's what was happening, and that's who they were being followed by, all this other shit, and then we start getting threats. So that tells me that Kraken or 423 and the stalker, they ought to work together to let Tragedy Penfield know when it was over, and then to start getting messages within seconds after
So
ending the review. And it's always my kids they go after. It's always, you know. And so that right there, I mean, that's
yeah,
working Penfield
they're
in a way,
they're
not
supposed
helpful.
to be finding children and helping solve the case, but they're attacking your children. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Mm.
You know. So are you saying that 423 Chase, Brad, Washawn, and Cam know each other? And Cam know each other?
I don't know about prior, no, but
Okay.
I know that after, obviously, and they've tried to put this false spin on the Wishon shit too, right? I don't know 423. I only met him the one time, the one day, and his cousin or whoever the fuck he is, the one that owns the car lots, that dude's notorious around here because he was such a fucking con, and notorious around here because he was such a fucking con, and I mean he's obviously in prison for a reason, and everybody here made fun of him, you know. Everybody here hated him. He's a douchebag, and he was dirty as shit. And it's a small town, so everybody kind of knows, you know. But I didn't know that they were kin or anything else till all this shit starts coming down. But I don't personally.
Hold on,
And
Jody. Yes, Benny, we know you're live and you have less people in there. So, all right, keep going. Sorry, Jody.
so I mean, and yeah, 423 did recently get sentenced.
So
Uh,
is he in jail now, Brad?
yeah, he's in jail.
Wow.
He had some
Well, I mean,
sort of
he deserved to be there.
yeah, it looks like and they had I don't know all the details. I know what um others have said, but he was obviously a con DD type of dude before ever entering around Summer's case. And TM has admittedly, literally, there's proof of this. It's on my channel too. I've played it, in her own words on her own lives. She was so proud. She's so proud. She's the one that found Chase and brought him into Summer's case. And she also brought Scott in. Scott's first live was with TM. And then they all find squad. I mean, they all connect back locally and together like that. And the first idea for the marathon comes from one of the ones here locally. It hangs, out around 110, and it goes to Scott, and then it goes to TM. Tragedy Pimpville takes over the whole thing is somehow mixed in together. Not sure how, but I just know it is.
Yeah.
And but TM's very proud of. She says that she built something. There's proof of that too. I've played it. It's on our own lives. And we've led back to the first phone calls as soon as the release for summer that night when the feds show up after midnight. This place latched on. That includes TM, drain the well dry, the rest of the troop, and they are the first ones to make. And we've led back to the first phone calls as soon as the alerts released for summer that night when the feds show up after midnight. This place latched on. That includes TM, drain the well dry, the rest of the troop, and they are the ones to make a phone call to the pseudo XMIL, pretending to be a Christian organization, etc., which they knew would probably work considering her Facebook and social media was filled up with, religious things. And it did, and so we're outed, and then that one also makes a pick me post about Dobbs and shit, announce myself and the children, etc. Then Candace within the 2 days dead, and Tragedy Pimpville here hunts us down like prey for months. And because I wasn't really on social media, I didn't partake of YouTube, I didn't realize that. And so then when I decided, because they, once again, used my kids to kind of rope us in, right, and to set up event, I feel like I'm protecting my kids, also giving the world a bigger picture on summer, and everybody be nice enough to leave my kids alone and put the photos and all the bullshit they were doing back in the box, Facebook, but not here. And it went full tilt. And so TM, this group, they've been very much responsible for the worst things that happened to Summer's case and preying upon all of us around it, the community, innocent people, just other witnesses, everything else, like we're fucking, preferred meat bits. And every bit of large media and stuff you watch, they fight over all of us like we are meat or tidbits with freaking vultures, right? The tastiest choice bits, because
Mhm.
if you look back, you can see that every time large media or good media would pick up Summer's case or talk about her, this place would set off Summer's case or talk about her. This place would set off gaslight events between Candace and Dawn online, do goofy shit, and then it would create more Jerry Springer, right? And it would
Mhm.
keep media away, and it would keep Dawn and anybody else. It keeps them to themselves over here, and no other method of it's too much Jerry Springer for real media to pick up on. They didn't even want to touch DNC anyway because of you know um, the Jerry Springer and their bad backgrounds and the other, but they were still trying, just like Enton and the rest were. And then what you have is every time some media would pick up Summer, this place would interfere and make more Jerry Springer to where real media would at all. And
Right.
that's not helping Summer. You know.
No, not at all. I mean, I don't think anything that they've really done is helping Summer. I mean, at all. I think it's actually jeopardizing the case.
And look what they're doing to Quentin's now. You can see they select these cases about like predators themselves do. Uh,
Right.
with with Quentin's, it's the same thing. The mother, the background, the boyfriends, the salacious Jerry Springer type nature, um, and then they've latched on because it's going to last longer because they're still trying to find. They've latched on because it's going to last longer because they're still trying to find Quentin, right? And
Exactly.
and so they know they can draw money out of it. And then it's like, you already see the rumors flying. It's like there was some giant freaking party the parents, everybody else were at the other night, right? But that's not true. Um, but they're doing the Jerry Springer twist for salacious and for entertainment and all this and the other. And they're also outside of there going against families' wishes around, property and barriers and picture taking and all this stuff. And they're like, oh, we're on a public right, can understand how some of us, all had in a way detrimental, but also, there are also things in the background that, you know, mm, I hold note. It's just like, nah, I'm gonna pass. Like, Hawkins can full on kiss my whole ass. It's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, I hate that you're going through what you're going through and your kids too, Jody.
So I don't know, but there's why Cameron, she wanted to pull a reverse mean girl bullshit, you know. Like I mean literally that played out about like what she did with the panel where she twisted the FAFO video with chasing, And then she started hearing it recording play and she was out. She dipped. She dipped for a reason.
Oh,
So
yeah, somebody dipped so fast before. Like, good grief. Like, she could
I
even
wasn't
come up
even
and just,
because I don't have anything to say to her.
you were just going to play your audio?
Yep.
That's why she didn't want to hear it, I guess.
Well, you could start hearing it and then she did. She knew what the fuck.
Yep. She knew. She's over at Benny's now, so.
Um, that's what they. that's what they want eyes on tonight because of what they're working at again, and it's real convenient just several days after they've had and that's the thing for a full year. That's what people don't understand. The very first monsters were behind the scenes, and there's proof of that too. Playing with these, and TM is very much one of the ones that you know you know has yeah been pulling that in, putting a leash on it, etc. to target torment me because what are the weak points, right? Right,
Yeah.
abuser, children.
Yep.
So that's the only purpose for certain monsters to be around anyway, is to torment and to target and to harm, and they all profit off of it. So that's what they're about here. And they
Yeah.
clearly, like the rest of this, clearly, like the rest of this community knows, uh, we're really abused and really fucked with, and it's not a joke. It's not, you know, and they can do whatever they want, but they know. And so then it makes me sick when they stand there and they're like, oh, it makes me sick when they stand there and they're like, oh, but Petito and Collier and whatever. I'm like, oh, really? Really? But here you are for a year plotting, planning, keeping monsters in the background, blah, 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 to target and torment a real survivor and children who have, survived and are still trying to get out from behind the abuse. You know what I mean? Like, you know, yeah, okay. They really care about survivors, about their victims.
No, they
But
don't care at all. They don't care at all. Not one bit.
not really. And I don't know how more people can't see it.
Yeah.
I don't understand how more people can't identify it, see it, and know what it is. And I understand entertainment and that would be a different thing if they didn't go so real life and commit real crimes around these real cases. Thing if they didn't go so real life and commit real crimes around these real cases that are really active, and go to such lengths and depths to harm people around, for
Mhm.
that's not entertainment. That's criminal, you know. And the lengths they've gone to around Summer's case are just horrifying, terrifying, more than worrisome about what they can get up to in other cases going forward, especially. I mean, because each one they're learning new tricks, right?
Yeah, and I mean TBI's came out. Yeah, and I mean TBI's came out and said that what they're doing online isn't helping the case at all. So I don't see how people, you know,
Well, yeah, I'm the same group, including Doug, Floppy, others. I mean, they've been called out in case after case after case. Prior to Summers, they've been called out by, feds, law enforcement, giant media, and families. They were able to silence those quickly, though, and they're able to mind F people to where where they don't do simple Google searches. But, and they're still doing it. It's just like in Dillon's, I mean, same groups